too many angles, but we are here today to, oh my gosh, I think that violent dookie finally got to me. Like, I don't know if it has anything to do with drinking a coffee I left out overnight exposed to the air that's in my apartment. Um, but I know that the milk I put into it, it was good, you know. I think it was good, but I just had an experience with what's in the news lately. Uh, so the diarrhea has hit me. Perfect timing. I'm glad I have toilet paper. Maybe that's what like their joke is about the angel soft. It's gonna be a whole lot of toilet paper for the next however long until they get this water situation fixed. Um, so what I've decided to start doing is going through my stuff to see what I can get rid of, because that's the next step in this, because I'm not moving. You're gonna have to fix it, or we're just gonna live like this until it's over, because there's no nope. um so here we are. It can get exponentially worse, I'm sure, and I can document every single part of the way, including my walls, my method of cleaning, which we'll get to, um, the amount of stuff that I have to get rid of, the reason why I noticed like the abnormal amount of dust. It I've had to have my windows open since I discovered that router that appeared to have been accessed by somebody. So it's been years, 4 years. I've had to keep my windows open to maintain a nice level of humidity inside of my apartment, because I can no longer leave one window open all day in order to vent the unit. When I leave my house, I have to close all my windows and turn on the dehumidifier. Whereas up until 4 years ago, it was all right, right? It wasn't a big deal. There were neighbors in the building that were trustworthy enough that you didn't feel the need to worry about somebody trying to get into your apartment to see what you have that they don't have. So all of this started with one little meth addict. It had to. Who's that curious? Who's so curious about someone else's stuff? It's either a meth addict or a Section 8 tenant, and I don't want to blame a Section 8 tenant because I feel like people are given a second chance. But God forbid there's a double, like say there's a Section 8 tenant who is also a meth addict. I wouldn't try to check everybody's apartment past them. So if somebody thinks that I have money or a bunch of stuff, they really have nothing. They really have nothing, which is, I feel bad for them. So I'm gonna show you. I'll show you everything I have, just so you know. Like, I have it well documented between my security system, knowledge of what I have, receipts that I've saved for my entire life. Every single thing in my apartment has been purchased. If it's not purchased, it belongs to someone else. And I know that sometimes there's even so much as someone's name on an item that doesn't belong to me. So I don't hold on to stuff that's not mine, that I shouldn't have, that's not, that I don't have permission for. I'm not a thief. When I was younger, I was. Maybe I still have clothes from back then. I don't think so. I think throughout my life, I've purged all the things that I've stolen. It's not a good memory. Right now, if I were to have things that are considered stolen, it would be the stuff that I bought on credit cards that I didn't end up paying the bill on. So I consider that stolen stuff too, because that's the part of the breach of contract shit. Like, you signed up for this, you signed the motherfucking receipt when you bought it. That's a purchase you made. So I understand. I own up to the things that I've purchased in my name. That's why people are able to attack your credit. That's your good name. That's your good word. Take it out of my credit. Then you end up with bad credit. Then you figure out, like, oh, if you want to continue living, you can't keep doing that because nobody's going to lend you money. And then what do you got to do? Then you turn into a person who looks like they're a thief and steals money. So I don't have personal credit cards. because I am unable to manage them. My use of a credit card does not relate to my necessity for a credit card. Like, when you, okay, so if we go back decades, because I know that this has been going on for decades, when did the post-traumatic stress start? In high school, back in high school. So everything after high school, my dog was a service dog, whether I knew it or not, immediately when I got it. Because everything I've experienced prior to having that dog, post-traumatic stress. That is my condition. The reason she was a service dog is because I have a upper right extremity disability. I've lost, I believe the rating was 25% of my total use of my upper right arm. There's a qualified medical examiner who signed off on that. And I've been followed by a private investigator back during the time when I had a workers' comp case. So, because they wanted to try to prove that I was lying or that I'm a fraud, and I'm not. Within their private investigation report, I've said this before because this all goes together. This is the making of an innocent criminal. So, within that private investigator's report, which should be attached to that workers' comp claim somewhere, I had to submit a change of information because the information that was provided in the report from the private investigator was incorrect. So whenever you expose yourself to like a lawsuit, like that's a lawsuit, whenever you expose yourself to a lawsuit like that, you open your life up for examination from beginning to end. Because I'm not a fraud, I don't mind that. If I was a fraud, that's what you guys were hoping. You were hoping that you would see me crack under pressure. You were hoping that you would see, you don't even need like, so that's the funny thing. If you look at these videos of former CIA agents, I'm guessing now because they got exposed, and they talk about, you just nudge them. You just give them a little push and you let them get themselves in trouble. So with the knowledge now that it's been decades long, whether it's investigation, harassment, secret society, whatever it is, all of my actions are the result of people just giving me a little nudge, a little push. Because as of late, the more people try to push and direct and control me, I just stay inside. And that's part of it, Darvo or whatever. So they want me to be isolated. They want me to continue to do these video posted confessionals. I'm not confessing to anything because I haven't done anything. In my life, everything I've done is a very clear paper trail. So I don't need to admit to anything, because you could pull up a piece of paper that I've signed and be like, did you do that? And I could say I did or I didn't. And that's where the fraud comes in. That's where like access to the stuff in my life comes in. That's where all this hacking comes in. Because that's the only way they're ever going to make me look like a criminal, is if somebody intentionally goes in and takes devices and accounts that are in my name and uses them for bad stuff. How do I control that? If they have access to my brainwaves and they can get every single password I could possibly imagine. They have access to my thoughts before I do. So when I am thinking about a password, they're writing that shit down. I don't write my passwords down. So when I go to enter a password and I can't remember it, oh, gotta change it again. So you'll see like 4 or 5 attempts they're actually attempts from me in order to access my own accounts, because I cannot write my passwords down, not out of fear that someone will find them, because if I write them down, then I remember them. And if I remember them, having knowledge of my own passwords is a security flaw. So I just have to like type in shit, hope I remember it for whatever 10 seconds I need to remember it in order to access the account. And then that's it. If the account does not have 2-factor authentication, that is the problem of the site. That is the problem of whoever it is that runs that site. So One of those sites, Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, no longer has two-factor authentication. I don't know if they ever did, but they do have this access code that's very hard to get. In order to get it, you have to go physically into an office. And during the time of COVID, it was damn near impossible to do that. So I wonder how many people were put into my position or possibly made homeless or possibly murdered by not being able to access their Los Angeles Department of Water and Power accounts. I don't know if we can relate all of those things, but I do know that the online payment system for Los Angeles Department of Water and Power is one that makes it very easy for anybody who has spyware installed on a device to have their shit get messed with. So, like, their account, when you go log into their account, it has security questions. Some of the same questions that you may use to set up your credit report, whatever, right? Like access to your credit report. So that website, if you go log in to change your password or to change any of those questions, not only does it list the question, it lists the answer. So if somebody's viewing your stuff, they're screen grabbing all of that. Somebody else has access to your LA Department of Water and Power account. In the event of your death, someone can continue to pay the bill in your name because they're a criminal and they don't want it in theirs. So how many people are dead but still have bills at Los Angeles Department of Water Power? How many of those accounts are of actually deceased people that have had their identity stolen? Because I know when, like, an honest person fucks up their shit, getting water service in your name is damn near impossible. So that makes getting an apartment a hard thing to do if you have to put the water in your name. So fucking up any of your I pay mine. I had to pay a $500 utility bill because I missed a month, and then it got into the new month. So it was like 3. So what is it? Each utility bill is 2 months. So I had maybe 5 months. It's about $100 a month for my electricity, which I think is abnormal. But I do use a lot of electricity because I have a lot of stuff that's battery powered. So like, I paid for it. It doesn't matter. One of the reasons I think we got into this situation is because I'm around low vibrational people who maybe saw my account balance of $500 and had assumed that I wasn't going to make that payment because, like, who lets their bill get that high? Someone who's having trouble making ends meet because they've had to go between job to job to job, right? But it's not something that's impossible. Like, you have to make sacrifice. What are my I don't get to enjoy entertainment. I have to pay my bills. That's what every poor person does. So if you're out there and you're poor, some of the only ways that you're able to afford entertainment is to participate in this just make her look at you AI type stalker harassment. So what it is, if I can explain it correctly to people, very wealthy people are employing the broke to commit touchless murder. I'm not crazy. Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. I haven't smoked any weed today yet. And I say that. And I say that with all honesty. I say that with the however many piece motherfucking Lego sets right there you see going on in the back. I put those together with my own mind. So I know, like, my cognitive ability is 100% there. You know what goes into putting together Lego sets that are like 1,000 pieces or more? You have to sort everything. You have to organize it. Otherwise, you're going to have so much trouble figuring that shit out. You know, when I was a kid, I didn't play with Lego, and I don't know if it's because it was too advanced for me. I'm a dummy, by the way. A smart dummy. I was watching something on TV that was mentioning, like, a spiky personality. And what the spiky personality means, you are exceptional in a lot of areas. Right? Not a lot. Like, some areas you're exceptional. In other areas that everybody else is exceptional, you suck at it. Right? So, like, some of my ability to understand and comprehend just simple situations. Not even like I can understand a complex situation better than I can understand straightforward as shit. It's the craziest thing. That's why people are like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" When they have to deal with me, they're like, "Wow, you did all of that, and I just asked you for a motherfucking one thing, and you're just like, well, I got 10 questions, and I sent you all the wrong information." Duh. I don't know how to explain it. Um, over analyzing is what has allowed me to get this far in life, because you realize, as a dumb person with intelligent abilities, you realize very quickly how many people see you as an idiot or an imbecile and immediately start planning on taking advantage of you, right? They see the things that you can do, and then they assume that because you cannot, in some areas, you cannot put one and one together to make two, they assume that they're going to do a criminal activity, and they are going to put it on you because you're too stupid to realize what they're using you for. But I've explained everything. How else do I explain it? One of the things that I'm very like super curious about is the use of polycarbonate lenses as fiber optic screens. So let's get into special interests. And like in my blood, I have an electrician, right? So I have a lot of interest in this stuff, and that's not even known to me. This is like genetically, my interests are engineering related, electrical engineering, whatever. So going back to, what was I just talking about? Shit. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna put it together. People have recognized that ability, and then they try to play on it. They're like, well, you're gonna spend so much time trying to figure this out, you're not gonna see this other part of what we're doing to you. But I see the bigger picture, and I feel like I can turn it around and put it back on you. Like, for example, if they are able to successfully get away with murder via mold, what does it do? Well, it's a couple things. I'm trying to force a situation that requires an investigation, because I've made numerous attempts to clear my name for something I don't even, there's like nothing saying that my name is bad except for a community of people. And not even the community. The community is looking at me like high five, bitch, motherfucker. I can't believe your ass is still here. Please stay away from me because I know your ass got mold, but get those motherfuckers out of here. Nobody wants motherfucking drug addicts in their neighborhood. So I persist. The only people who want drug addicts in their neighborhood are people who don't want to be in their own neighborhood. They want to see their neighborhood go under. So as long as I live here, I consider this my neighborhood because I live in it. So I'm going to do my best to protect any of the children coming out of it. I don't care about the adults. The adults are what make the kids miserable. The adults are what make it so our world does not function in the way that it should. So if you need an auntie or a mama or a cousin, this is the best way I could give you advice. It has to be a non, like other people. It doesn't matter if other people see you watching me. You could tell them you're making fun of me or whatever. I don't care. I do know that I have a wealth of information to offer people who are willing to listen to it. We can change lives by, coming together and using this information to get rid of things that don't suit us. If people think that smoking weed, look, you made me all cry, baby face. If people think that smoking weed is a bad thing, I want to tell you all the things that it's not. Okay, give me a second. I gotta get unemotional about it. Just the other day when I was out on my walk, I saw it was a black BMW with a carbon fiber spoiler. The guy was huffing on a balloon. I have no idea what's in the balloon. He could have just filled the balloon up with hot air for all I know, which is why these people are able to get away with driving around Los Angeles on that shit. It's the same. It's the same way people go about like smoking weed in their car, hotboxing their car and stuff. They're like, well, as long as I don't have to roll my window down, uh, anybody who wants to say shit about me is a liar, because this could be me rolling up tobacco. You have no clue what it is unless you are very familiar with the smell of weed. You have zero clue what any kind of video evidence there is on people smoking weed in their car. It's the same for a balloon. Balloon has no smell, so you could huff and puff on your balloon all day long, and anybody who calls the cops on you is going to end up looking stupid. But what's going to look even stupider is when you crash your fucking dumb nitrous oxide fucking balloon head filled motherfucking Honda Civic into a bus full of people. That's going to look dumb. But you're not even there because, I don't know, they made those flavors in the bottles look so cute. Marketing. That's crazy. All of that shit does nothing for you. Waste of money. Think about all the stuff that you think about stealing or have stolen because you spent your money on some motherfucking nitrous oxide. Because you bought methamphetamine. How many hours have you spent awake thinking of other crimes to commit because your ass is hyped up off some methamphetamine? When does methamphetamine turn into fentanyl? When does that turn into a heroin overdose? That's what I'm waiting for you. That's why I don't mind you guys getting money. I don't mind you guys getting money because if you're a drug addict, you're going to waste it. So, here's your voice file. Hope you get paid. You get me? That's how I think I'm going to win this game. I think you guys will self-eliminate because you get so excited because you see one little picture on Instagram and you think that means you're so successful. You see one day when I go outside and I don't feel like talking to nobody and you think we made her go mute. You see one day where I wear a face mask and you think I'm hiding my face. None of that stuff is consistent because that's not who I am. I'm not a person to hide who I am. I have zero reason to hide who I am. So please let that go down and be known. Because if you're thinking on the scale of any reasonable person, or if you're thinking about, well, how do criminals act? Criminals act scared. Criminals' eyes are shifty when you look them in the eye. As a victim, as a survivor, when I look my perpetrators in their eyes, this is what their eyes look like. They can't look at me. I watched a security guard do it. As I walk past, that's what lets me know everybody knows about me. Everybody in the neighborhood knows. Because I could look you in your eyes. I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything but just tell you about myself and the things that I do so that whatever opinion you have of me, squash that shit. Here, look into my personal life. What is it? Where would you set up a lab in here? Where? What do you think is a lab? Show me. Also, if we're talking about apartments, I don't know if they're going to build that apartment a bookshelf, but my apartment is one of the only apartments with this bookshelf in this building. You know why I have this bookshelf? Because on the other side of this bookshelf is nothing. It used to be a window. Probably if this building existed before the building next to me, you used to be able to see out of this window. But when that brick wall from whatever the building is next to me went up, this became a closed off bookshelf. And it was one of the advertising points of this unit when I rented it 11 years ago. Because organized people like bookshelves. Right? This was a key selling point, the bookshelf. And if you're going to try to set me up, you got to build your apartment a bookshelf in the window bay. Because that other apartment, they only got the door and then one wall of windows. right? Same, I got the door and one wall of windows, but I used to have an extra window. So that's how you can tell, like, whatever cameras come in, whatever happens, the reason they didn't want me to show my face, they wanted me hiding, they didn't want me to show my apartment, is because this goes to disprove everything they've told you about me. I don't live in that stinky ass apartment that's on the street. That smell that you smell coming out of the window, that comes from whatever tenant rented that unit after I took a photo of it. Within the law, I did everything within the law. I'm pretty sure I did not walk into that unit. All of my videoing and my photoing was from the outside. If I walked in, maybe it's because the door was open and it's like a open rental. It was back during when they're doing like open house type shit. But I'm damn near sure I did not even go as far as to walk in, because that's considered trespassing if it's not your motherfucking apartment. So it would have been more believable for my video, but I'm not trying to be anything I'm not. I just posted a photo of a space I had access to. Not even access, I had a visual of. So that, all of this goes to show you how social media can play with your head and make you feel a certain type of way about somebody you have zero clue about. So for whoever has used that video over and over again in order to portray a narrative that that's my apartment, the one that smells like the methamphetamine, it's not. Look at the people who hang out in front of the building all day. Who else has a vested interest in everything that happens on the sidewalk in the front? I don't give a shit what happens out there. I got another window where I could see everybody on Santa Monica Boulevard if I want to. So I don't have any reason to go, well, aside from enjoying the sun. That's why I do go outside, to enjoy the sun. But I don't have any other reason to just hang out there all day. I have a job. You will not find me out in the front between the hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. really. Unless I'm taking a break, it's a street sweeping day, I gotta run an errand, I placed an order. You're not going to find me outside of my apartment on any weekday, even some weekends. I have enough work to do where I could work one day on the weekend. So I could work 6 days a week. I have zero reason to do illegal shit. Zero reasons. If you wanna get deep, do a deep dive into my shit, and you look through my emails, I negotiated my salary. I negotiated my salary because if I didn't, I might have to turn to do illegal shit. So when somebody says something to me like, I'll just take what I could get, like, I don't know, it's different time, different day and age, but I'm used to people just taking what they can get. The reason I did take what I could get. I got more than what you wanted to give me, right? So I took what I could get. So that saying doesn't make sense to me. It's take what you need. Take what you need as you need it. But don't be greedy, right? Because I could have been greedy and I could have tried for a position that makes more money and I would have ended up at a different place. But in the end, all of this stuff is the same, because the same people, it's a network. People are friends. Over here, you do one thing over here, somebody else is going to just be like, don't worry, we got you. Right? That's how solid their network is. But a lot of the stuff that's involved in a network like that, there's a lot of extortion that goes on. A lot of people know that you did. That's why I have to live my life the way that I do, to let people know you cannot hold anything over my head. If you do try to hold something over my head, it is completely fabricated, falsely made up. I am that honest. I am that motherfucking honest. To the point, like, how do I say it? One of the things that I say, and one of the reasons that allows me to live in the way that I live, is be the first to admit your mistakes. It's much worse to have somebody who doesn't like you find it. Right? That has been the experience of my life. If you are the first person to tell whoever needs to know about your mistake that you fucked up, and then don't make excuses. That's the other key part of it, because anybody less than you is going to make an excuse. They're going to tell you why it ended up, without the person asking. Don't offer why. If the person doesn't give a shit about why, most look. My hand's getting tired from holding my phone. Um, most people, let me tell you, in the professional world of people who make money, of people I've worked with personally and experienced and had the opportunity to gain knowledge from who make money. In a world of people who make money, when there is when there's like an issue or a problem or something, when there's a situation that's created that's undesirable, the most powerful people don't ask why, and if they do, they wait till it's fixed, right? Because you have to know why in order to keep it from happening again. But the question they ask is, well, how do we fix it? They're not going to want you to waste time explaining, unless, like, it is explaining is a key part of understanding why you made a mistake. But a person who likes money doesn't care so much about the mistake. They care about how you recover from it, because how you recover from it determines how much money they get back out of your mistake. How much money do they lose from the mistake that you made? So if you make a mistake and then continue and proceed to spend months upon months explaining why things are not working instead of everything that you possibly can to make it work, that's the problem. So in my life, it has been like my order of operations. Oh shit, I fucked up. First thing you do, immediately notify the people who are affected by it. The next thing you do, make sure that you take the steps to fix it, right? Even something as small as an address, right? I'm so thankful. I made a mistake, but there's like levels of mistake in my position. One of the mistakes that I don't want to make is giving another client access or information regarding another client's rates, right? If someone could get down to the minuscule part of things and realize that they are not getting as good of a deal as somebody else, that's where problems are created. So the mistake that I made today, how I grade the severity of it, is what happened. Information was exposed because I had sent wrong information. I didn't update a field. So what information was exposed? Public information, publicly available information. I don't feel bad about that mistake. I issued an email, I corrected it. I would have to continue to think about that mistake if I affected other people's income. But the information that I mistakenly sent that I should not have is something that I can recover from. Is something I have no problem sending an email saying, oops, my bad, I fucked up immediately. I recognized it. Here's the solution. I'm so thankful that's all that it was. In order for me to keep my job, I have to maintain a certain level of comprehension for my job duties, right? There's zero chance that you have of making my brain not be able to function enough so that I can maintain an income. I'm sitting here next to my open door, so the apartment can fill up with mold, but I will still be able to do my job because there's still oxygen coming in. Not only there's oxygen coming in, and I can't say that I can beat mold because mold grows so quickly. Mold is growing every minute that it's around. Oh, look, the ppb meter is working. It says 231 ppb as my door is open. With a closed door, I have 7 ppb. So my apartment is not the cause of the ppbs. The open door is the cause of the ppbs. So I'm not spreading mold. They're actually putting more mold spores into my apartment. Somebody in this building probably just opened their door. Right? They just closed it. It's going down. 196 ppb. It's 82.7 degrees up in this bitch. 58% humidity. I got to take care of that. I got to get it below 50. 58% humidity is mold. So I actually have to get off of this, and I'm going to shut my door and try to use the dehumidifier to decrease the humidity to less than 50%. I'll see you.